Welcome, this is Richie from Driftomaniacs, and this is my Spektrum DX4C radio review. So, why am I reviewing this radio? Well, do your transmitter setup look like this? Is this a familiar sight like the one in your hobby room? If so, then you may well be in need of an alternative solution to your transmitters. If your transmitter shelf looks like that, then you should consider getting one of these Spektrum DX4C DSMR radio systems. You can store a staggering 20 models in the transmitter here. It's got like a safe match mode on here on the transmitters, so if it's not in the right name for the right car, the transmitter won't work that car, so you can't make any mistakes with it. It only works one car at a time, but you can operate 20 different cars in total, all from the same transmitter. Speaking of Spektrum receivers, if you buy the Spektrum receivers with the AVC in them, you control the AVC from this transmitter. The AVC stands for Active Vehicle Control. Think of it as like traction control for your RC car. It also modulates the steering slightly, correcting any sort of kickouts of the tail under power, etc., and generally helps you cut a faster line through corners and smoother in the process. So, just covering the basics on the radio, on-off button, batteries in underneath. The handle here is removable. That comes with three different grips. By peeling this back, you can fit an SD card in here, thus enabling you to upload the latest software for the transmitter. You've got your throttle, brake, traditional steering on there. Digital display screen, more on that in a minute, as this is the heart of the system. You've got like a little jog wheel here, which you can scroll up and down through the various functions, and that button also presses in to select things. 5 different buttons on the transmitter for selecting different options. Your aerial on the top. So, to get to the heart of the system, when you turn it on, you'll come on with whatever model number, well in this case model name 01 on here. You can preset all of these names, so you could call this model 1 Richie's Rustler, Traxxas Summit, WR8 Flux, Bigfoot, etc. You can name each different model on here so that you can look through without having to think, oh hang on, what did I call that car? Was that number 1? Was that number 2? Etc. So you can actually change the names on there. Just going to press. You can also got steering trim. You can see a little dial. The steering is centered there, and throttle trim in that dial on the side there. So you read everything by using this jog dial. So press this to start with. Well, the first thing is, when using this jog dial, is you just have got the seemingly 5 functions: model, reverse, travel, expo, bind on here. By scrolling down these, you will come to things like sub trim, timer, name function can be used to set the name of each channel. So you could set channel 1 to Summit, channel 2 to Rustler, channel 3 to Armour Typhoon, channel 4 to Armour Nero, etc., etc. So you can change the name of them using that function. Switch function there, system, copy, useful for the racers amongst you out there. You might want to have one setup for the same car for different tracks, different conditions, etc. So you can copy the setup over from one model to another if needs be, and reset, which is fairly obvious. AVC, Active Vehicle Control. As I mentioned, this will work with Active Vehicle Control receivers. The Spektrum do sell both types of receiver. Not all of them are Active Vehicle Control ones. If you want your car to have AVC, make sure you buy an AVC receiver for it. This transmitter basically won't take say like a non-AVC car, maybe like a HPI one, and suddenly give it an AVC function without it having that receiver. Steering mix. One which is kind of quite dear to my heart, as I have an ECX Temper set up for 4-wheel steer. With this, you can actually get it so that you can control 2 servos in sort of opposite to the opposite thing to each other, which you might need with 4-wheel steer. So a very useful function on there. And that is the last of our functions on there. Mixing, you can go into quite some detail about this. It gets quite technical. Didn't really want to cover that in that much depth in this demo. So let's have a look at some of those functions and talk about just the basics of what the transmitter is capable of. I would just say I'm not going to drill down into too much detail on each one, as there is a massive instruction manual with this, but just to show the simplicity of just a few of the basic functions on here. Okay, when you've pressed that, and when you first turned it on, you've pressed the jog wheel just down. Simple as that. This will be highlighted, a little arrow on the top here. Using the jog wheel, you can just scan down to model. Press the button in when model's highlighted. You can then, you'll see this is highlighted at the top again in the right arrow. Scroll down again. That's then a little box is highlighted around the name of model 1. Press that and you can use the wheel to scroll up through all 20 different functions and just choose the relevant RC that you want on there. As I said, you can change the name on there to be more relevant to your car, exactly which car you are controlling. So we'll select number 2 on there. So again, select number 2 rather than number 1. Simply scroll down to number 2, press that button in, and that's us now on number 2. Now to get back up, simply scroll the wheel up till that's highlighted, press again, takes us back to our main screen. Scroll down, press reverse, you can stay there, steering, reverse, normal, etc. Travel left and right again on the steering as to how much you want in there, because obviously you know the little dials on this, everything's set electronically, but these can be adjusted electronically on there. I like to set all the functions. Simply press this jog wheel when the thing is highlighted. You can tell where it's highlighted, whether it's highlighted in this arrow or in this case down on here. Move down to Expo, scan on there, steering, it's just 0 for each way at the minute, but it's, again, as I said, you can scroll down, you can just scroll down and press steering. Throttle, we can change the throttle exponentially on there as well. All of these settings fully adjustable on there. So it has 4 channels on here, and these buttons can be set like my friend Alan has his set on his Summit. So when he's got the Summit selected on the transmitter, one of these buttons controls the lock differentials, and one of them controls the gearbox. Well, one of the things the Spektrum DX4 comes with is an inactivity alarm, which has just gone off there because I've not moved any of the throttle or the steering controls in 10 minutes. Simple touch of the wheel stops the alarm from going off. So therefore it will alert you to the fact that the battery is going to go flat or not. It's also got a low voltage battery alarm which alerts you that the battery is indeed going flat. That is the basics of what you get with the DX4C. As I say, AVC compliant transmitter from minute 1. This is probably one of the best and the cheapest transmitters. It's around about $120, $130. Like in some months it was actually cheaper to buy the transmitter and the receiver rather than to buy the transmitter on its own. Overall, if you want to reduce the number of transmitters that you're carrying around with you for taking 5 or 6 RCs out at once and running them during the day, if you're out on your own, you no need to be carrying all those 5 transmitters. You could simply take one of these with you. So you are getting a great deal of versatility with the Spektrum DX4C for not a lot of money. Overall, the transmitter's got a good solid feel to it. I've not dropped it on the floor and know what you want to do with that digital display. Like anything, it will only put up with so much abuse, but in general, bangs and bashes on it, pretty good. So I hope you like that sort of short overview of what the DX4C is capable of. If you did, then please use the link below the video if you want to purchase one of these, and by all means subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Well, if you like our Driftomaniacs videos, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook and on YouTube. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching.